to the Fantasy Football Fanatics podcast with your hosts Griffin Palmer, CJ Hickman, Jason Cabrera, and Ryan Mitchell.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is Tuesday, May 15th. This is the Fantasy Football Fanatics podcast, the official podcast of thefantasyfootballfanatics.com. I'm your host, Griffin Palmer, joined by Jason Cabrera. Jason, what's up, buddy?
How's it going? We're quiet today.
I know. It's amazing how much quieter and more peaceful it is when CJ the Hitman Hickman is not here. CJ's got stuff going on. I mean, he's doing big things. It's that time of year for him. He's keeping busy. And it's the off season, so we try to jump on other opportunities when we can. When it's slow like this, he'll be back into the thick of things in the not too distant future, I think. But yeah, in the meantime, we're here, two-man show, holding down the fort. Actually talked to the other fourth guy, Ryan Mitchell. Remember we talked about him on Friday's show? Yeah, that other guy. I talked to him the other time. He's interested in trying to maybe call in at some point, so we might hear a name from a voice from the past if you've been with us for a very, very long time. So that'd be pretty cool. But I'm not committing to anything. I have to try and work it out and talk him into it. And he works early. We record late. It's a whole logistical problem. But maybe. It's a possibility. It'd be cool. Anyway, though, we have an amazing show for you guys today. Today, we're going to be doing our first full mock draft. Now, I know we've done a number of other mock drafts to this point in this offseason, but they were early mock drafts. Now we know where most of the major players are signed. We know where all the free agents have been picked up. We know where all the players have been drafted. So now we have the information we need to actually make an informed draft, and we're going to, since CJ's not here, we're going to do a consensus draft, which we know seems to be everyone's favorite. We always hear people say that they love when we all three argue over drafting one team. That's what I wanted to do, but I wanted CJ to be here for that because it's better when we get three people inputting, so it's more of a when it's just two people, if you end up butting heads, if someone doesn't compromise, you don't go anywhere. So having that third voice kind of breaks ties, and it's just more fun that way. So we're going to draft two separate teams. We're going to be drafting in the same mock draft together, a live 12-team standard mock draft. We were going to do half point, but half point's not available on the site that we're on, so we're going to do standard, and we'll do a full point PPR and a auction and two quarterback and IDP and all these other drafts a little bit later down the line. If you guys want to support the show and get access to additional mock drafts and fantasy shows and news articles and all that other good stuff, head over to patreon.com/thefantasyfootballfanatics. It helps us keep doing what we're doing, keep these lights on, keep the website running, and you get all these bonus perks along the way. If that's not in your world of possibilities at the moment, the easiest thing you do wherever you're listening, if you're on YouTube right now, if you're on iTunes or the Apple Podcast app, whatever they call it, Google Play, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, any of these other things, Stitcher, did I say Stitcher? Stitcher again. If you give us a rating, you give us a review, it helps us out a ton. We greatly appreciate that. And, if you have any questions, make sure you submit them through any of our various social media platforms. We're very easy to get a hold of. Just search for The Fantasy Football Fanatics anywhere. You'll probably find us. So with that, let's get to it. And man, I put the warm-up question in, and now CJ's not here again. Okay, we're just going to talk about this.
That's the issue.
We missed the show when CJ was here, which is why we held off on it. We're just going to do it. Okay, so this one comes in from Phyllis in Pennsylvania. Hello, Phyllis. She asks, keeper question, should I keep Todd Gurley for a second-round pick or Kareem Hunt for a third-round pick? Now, this is an interesting question because, obviously your gut automatically says, holy crap, we want Todd Gurley. But you have to remember, both of these guys are going in the first round right now, and you're able to save a round of value and still get a first-round pick. So you might, depending on your draft stock, you might be able to get the one that you don't take in the first round. It's just a matter of, do you save on value or do you go for the elite top-tier name? Because obviously right now we all know that it's really between Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell for that number one pick. In most fantasy circles. So do you spend a second-round pick on that number one overall guy, still keep your first-rounder, or do you burn your third round, get this first-round pick, still keep your first, still keep your second? So this was interesting to me because right now Todd Gurley is actually going as the number one overall. If you look on, fantasy football calculator, Kareem Hunt is going as the seventh running back. Really, he's dropped behind Leonard Fournette and Alvin Kamara, which I don't agree with. Leonard Fournette's way too high there.
I don't agree with that either.
I think when it's all said and done, Kareem Hunt will be in the 5-6 range. So that's where he is in our rankings, at least. So, Jason, what are your thoughts here?
It's enticing to look at Todd Gurley, as you said. You get him at second-round pick. That is a steal because you're talking about a guy that's going to go number one overall or number two overall. And then, of course, You got Kareem Hunt, but that might even be considered more of a steal because you still have your number 1 and number 2 picks when you take Kareem Hunt, who is a first-round pick. Now, undoubtedly, if you're just going by which is a better player, Todd Gurley's a better player.
Right, in a vacuum,
He's
it's
just
Gurley.
a better running back.
Yeah.
Right. But looking at it as per purely value standpoint, you got to go with Kareem Hunt because you get a first and a second rounder now. You can get another elite running back in there and an elite receiver. So you end up with 2 elite running backs, 1 elite receiver, and you still have. I mean, that's your top 3. That's amazing. I think I would probably go with Kareem Hunt here.
I completely agree. I mean, my heart hurts because Todd Gurley, man, he single-handedly won me a number of championships last year, including in our big league. I should have been out in the divisional round. My opponent had a season-high week, and Todd Gurley, if you remember, that Week 15 performance of his just blew the roofs off. Everything, every expectation in multiples. I would love to have this guy on my team, and my heart wants him bad. But the upside of having, still your first round and still your second round pick, and who knows, maybe you, it depends on your draft, obviously, what your draft order and how that's figured out. Maybe you still have a shot at reclaiming Todd Gurley, but you get 2 first round picks and still get a second round pick this way. For value, if you're looking at it analytically, you have to keep Kareem Hunt and burn the third round pick, save your second round pick. But I also wouldn't fault you if you went with Todd Gurley because he's all that good. And there's less question marks there. New quarterback coming in always adds a degree of possible confusion. But they added Sammy Watkins, so who knows? It could go any number of ways. I like the offense better in Los Angeles. I like the offensive players in Kansas City. So who knows?
Mm-hmm. Well, Phyllis, I hope you haven't had to draft yet, so you could actually get an answer from the show.
I know.
I guess Kareem Hunt for both of us.
We pushed it off for like a week and a half. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, Phyllis.
So if anyone else has questions, we promise we're usually better about getting back to them. We just really wanted to talk about this on the show because this was very intriguing to me. Again, on Twitter at the FF Fanatics, Facebook, email, we're all over. So yeah, man, that just makes me feel bad just giving up Todd Gurley like that. But yeah, the value, it's too good.
In the third round though, yeah.
Man, a third round for a first round running back. I mean, he's going.
Well, hey, look at it this way. Look at this. This is how I look at it. You don't get Todd Gurley in the first round unless you're going to be number 1 or number 2, right? Let's say that you're number 4, right? And David Johnson's just sitting there. I mean, you end up with David Johnson and Kareem Hunt as your running backs, you're crushing people this year.
That's true. And, I mean, if you're in a league where everybody's dumb and they hold on to their first-round picks, for first-round, burning their first-round value, like anyone who drafted David Johnson last year is going to burn a first-round value in your league to keep him. So, I mean, odds are maybe Todd Gurley falls to you anyway where you pick up because if everyone's keeping the first-rounders from last year anyway, that's not good.
There you go.
That's not good strategy. But it's an option, or who knows? Maybe you'll end up being able to grab, an elite wide receiver, and maybe you'll get your hands on a Saquon Barkley early in the second, late in the first. Who knows? Could be interesting. I'm just saying, there's the world of possibilities, and you have those options, and you could maybe still trade if your league allows trading of draft picks. You have a lot of options when you burn a third instead of a second. So that's kind of where we're getting at. We hope this is helpful. Let's move on. Let's go to the top headlines from around the league, and of course there was the NFL Top 100 that came out last night, and we now know numbers 70 through 61. We have Devontae Freeman, running back for the Atlanta Falcons. He was 41 a year ago, so he dropped significantly, but the Falcons offense struggled. Fletcher Cox, I have him as a running back for Philly. That's not right. Philadelphia lineman. He was 38 a year ago, so he took a pretty. He was injured, wasn't he? I'm trying to remember. Was he banged up or did he just have a bad year?
I believe he was. Yeah.
I think he was banged up, if I remember. And CJ's not here, so we don't know. Number 68. I know, right? 68 was Zach Ertz. He was unrated a year ago, so pretty good placement for making the list for the first time. Kind of surprised he wasn't a little bit higher, but he also got hurt, so not too surprising. Number 67, Telvin Smith, linebacker, Jacksonville. Criminally underrated here. He should be so much higher.
He's super good.
So good. 66, Jarrell Casey, defensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans. He was 86 a year ago, so he moved up, I think deservingly so. 65, Stephon Diggs, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, unrated a year ago, so making an appearance, and I think that's good value for him. I don't think he should be too much higher than that. I like him a lot, but I think that's good.
For now, yeah, he's good there.
Yeah, 63, Geno Atkins, defensive tackle for the Bengals. He was 68 a year ago, so staying pretty consistent.
I think he missed 64, didn't you?
I might have subconsciously done that, yes. But yeah, Geno Atkins, he stayed where he was. Going back to 64, Richard Sherman, there he is, cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks, now of the San Francisco 49ers. He was 21 a year ago. I mean, obviously he had a decrease last year. He was not nearly as good, but that whole defense really took a lot of hits, injuries.
Too,
everyone was banged up. It was a bad year. So he expectedly plummeted a little bit in the rankings. Still a top 100 player, so there you go. Now, skipping 63, which, as we already said, was Geno Atkins, we get to 62. Micah Hyde, cornerback for the Buffalo Bills, unrated a year ago.
Weird.
Might be one of only a couple Bills we see on this list. And number 61, Ndamukong Suh, defensive tackle, previously of the Dolphins, now of the Rams, 55 a year ago. Dropped a couple spots. Oh, man, he's going to be scary in Los Angeles with that defensive line.
No.
I mean, we said that in Minnesota.
He's going to be higher than 61. You mark my words. Unless he gets injured, he's going to be higher than 61 this year.
We thought that defensive line in Miami was scary, but this Rams defensive line, I mean, they're younger, and I think even more explosive. So, man.
And the defensive coordinator of theirs is a monster.
I was going to say, and one of the best defensive minds in the league heading the whole thing. So, there you go. Other bit of league news. We kind of we didn't even gloss over this. We didn't even bring it up on Friday's show. Detroit Lions head coach Matt Patricia said he spoke with the team, and he told the team that he is 100% focused on being the head coach of the Detroit Lions. Now, this is stemming after reports resurfaced of a sexual assault case that he had over 20 years ago, going back to 1996. Reportedly, he was never tried. The witness or victim was never she, I assume, never testified, claims he was wrongfully accused, and he's trying to say that, this was a dark point in his past. Someone's just trying to bring it up as a distraction. It surfaced. He's 100% focused on moving forward. The team came out with a statement that was very unified in their approach, that they're supporting him, and they're moving forward together. They're looking past this. But it's definitely bad news, and something that's, I don't know if it's going away. It's something that's going to be in the headlines for probably a little while. So if you've been hearing reports about the Lions and Matt Patricia, now you know a little bit more about what's going on. I don't think we're going to weigh in too much here, but that's what's going on in the news. We'll see how it plays out. Let's go to the quarterback position where, Indianapolis Colts head coach Frank Reich said that quarterback Andrew Luck still isn't throwing the football, regular-sized football.
Not good.
I hate
not good.
Everything.
I'm so glad that CJ is not here right now.
I know he'd be laughing. I hate the Colts and their inability to give us consistent information and seemingly misleading information, because we heard the reports that he was throwing. Now that we're hearing that he hasn't resumed. Scary stuff. Very, very, very recognizable face and big name in this league, still not playing. I assume not mishandled again, just misinformation. But I don't know. It's getting concerning. I mean, obviously there's still plenty of offseason left. We're only halfway through May. But June, July, into August, we're in training camp and preseason, and football's right around the corner. So
yeah. And you guys asked me why I had him rated as low as I had him. I'm telling you, this is why. Until I see definitive evidence that he is ready to go, I am not touching him in my rankings. He is staying down below the ones, because I don't even know if he's going to start this year.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. I just want him to come back.
I do too.
Yeah, it's just not just for fantasy, but just for football in general. Good games, keeping the Colts competitive. So we, as we've been for a year and a half now, we will continue to monitor as it moves forward, as the story develops. So let's move to the running back position, where Dallas Cowboys executive vice president Stephen Jones said that the team wants to get Tavon Austin, quote, 12 to 24 touches per game. I laughed out loud, audibly, when I heard this report.
Do they mean they're going to hand him the football before they put it out on the field? Because that would make more sense.
I don't understand it.
Okay,
I don't. First off, I don't know who talks that way. 12 to 24. I'll say a couple dozen, maybe. But besides that, Tavon Austin. I mean, this is a long track record of him having coaching regimes come in, all gushing over his talent, and he never gets the volume that people are saying he's going to get. For him to get 24 touches a game, how is that even possible? Because there's only so many offensive snaps and offensive plays in a game, and you already have to assume that Ezekiel Elliott's going to be getting the ball probably at least 20 touches a game. So how is Tavon Austin going to get up to 24 touches a game? There's no way that happens.
If he's a wide receiver...
But he's not.
I mean... But I know, that's what I'm saying. If he's a wide receiver, okay. You know, I mean, they don't have a lot of wide receivers in Dallas right now, a lot of good ones anyway. But they got him listed as a running back. So, I mean, and he's a running back behind Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep.
How in the world are they planning on doing this? This makes no sense.
No, I have to assume that he's not actually going to play running back. I think he's going to transition all over the field. But even then, he's going to be kind of a Swiss Army knife, all over the place, jack-of-all-trades type player. I don't see any way he consistently gets 12 touches a game unless he's running the ball a lot, much less 24. So, I
think there's going to be a new position coming to the NFL soon because they've got so many of these kinds of players now, like a Tavon Austin and guys like this that don't have a home right now, and people like Ty Montgomery is another perfect example of this. They transition back and forth between receiver and running back. I think that you're going to see a position appear in NFL teams where they're like a slot receiver who goes into the backfield all the time.
They're going to have their own flex position.
Some sort of a flex position, like a slashback or something like that, who's able to transition back and forth, sort of like what we do with David Johnson all the time. I mean, he really does that. He goes to the slot, he goes to the backfield. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years because that's what I'm seeing moving forward.
Yep. It's definitely possible. I mean, we've seen all these trends and variations on approaches and offensive lineups and all types of formations and stuff throughout the years. Some stick, some don't. Mm-hmm. But you can't deny that there are a lot of these just crazy pure athletes coming in. I mean, Tavon Austin's starting to get a little bit up there in age, but still, I would assume, very explosive. But we're spending too much time with Tavon Austin. Bottom line, I don't think there's any way he gets 24 touches a game. There's just no way.
No.
Not
right now.
I just thought that was kind of laughable because you have to also assume they're going to throw the ball a little bit to any one of their numbers of wide receivers. So there's only so many snaps to go around. It's not going to happen. Sadder news, Carolina Panthers running back Fozzie Whitaker has been placed on injured reserve after tearing his ACL in a non-contact drill. So that sucks, but adds more clarity to that backfield. So C.J. Anderson and Christian McCaffrey staying interesting. And that's the news. So with that, I guess let's go ahead and move on to our mock draft. So let's go ahead and bring up the pages. This is a live mock draft, so people are going to be probably drafting with us. Let's refresh. We're looking for our first standard. Oh, there's one right at the top. Starts in a minute. I'm going to randomly generate numbers for us. Do you want to go first or me go first?
I'll go first.
All right. You are position number 9. I am position... Oh, God. I'm position number 3. That's awesome.
You suck. I should have gone first. I should have gone second.
It's all dumb luck. Now, all right.
Dang it.
So I'm in. I'm waiting.
I'm in.
I see you. And the draft starts in 35 seconds. So just to recap what we're doing here, we are both going to be drafting our own standard team mock drafts. This is a 12-team league standard snake draft. And we're just going to see kind of how it plays out going to our first full draft, knowing the full rosters of these teams. So is there anything you're going to be looking for during this draft in particular? Obviously, we're going to do analysis after the draft. That's going to be most likely Friday's show. Really deep dive on it. But I'm really intrigued just to see where some of these rookies go. That's what I'm going to be looking at.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for rookies. I'm looking for guys that have been sliding up and down draft boards. I'm looking for Devontae Adams. I want to see where he ends up going if people really believe in him. Oh, here we go.
All right.
Zeke, number
Ezekiel
1.
Elliott drafted number 1. What the heck?
Number 1. Look at you.
Oh, man. Le'Veon Bell, number 2. So, oh, man. I'm so sorry, Todd Gurley. You're come back to me after the warm-up question. Oh, I love it so much. Todd Gurley on my team with the number 3 pick. Number 4, Antonio Brown.
Wow.
Antonio Brown.
How did you do that?
How did Antonio Brown get taken ahead of Kareem Hunt, then Leonard Fournette, and then David Johnson? Something's not right here. Then Alvin Kamara. And now, Jason, you are on the board. Ooh.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
That is straight up disrespectful.
It's not good.
Oh, man. I'm so mad.
You are
okay.
running back.
I'm going to get a running back. I'm looking at two guys here. I'm looking at Dalvin Cook. I'm looking at Melvin Gordon. One of these two guys. Man, I'm just not a big believer in Melvin Gordon.
I know. He's not very efficient per touch. 15 seconds.
Yeah. I'm going with Dalvin Cook over there in Minnesota. I think he's going to get some touches.
Spicy. I liked him. I thought he was really, really good. Last year he was on my team before he went down. Before he went down. I think he's going to surprise some people because I think a lot of people forgot about him. DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham Jr., Melvin Gordon went next. Top of the second, Michael Thomas, Jordan Howard, Julio Jones. Now you're back on the clock, Jason.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, I got a couple of options here that I like. I could take a nice wide receiver, or I could take, you know what? I am going to take Saquon Barkley.
Dang it, Jason! Dang it!
Boom!
I was really hoping he would slip to me. AJ Green went next. Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon going early. Wow, I didn't think he'd be going that early in the second.
I did. I thought he'd go in the second.
I mean, I would have taken him there, but I didn't think that he'd be going there yet in mocks. Devontae Freeman, LaShawn McCoy went next. So I'm back on the board. Mark Ingram suspended. Christian McCaffrey's now a backup. Derrick Henry is in the committee. Jay Ajayi, we don't know how that's going to play out. I'm going to look at wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I've got two guys staring me in the face that are very interesting to me. Do I want Keenan Allen, a nice PPR monster, or Mike Evans, who I expect to have a big bounce-back year? Keenan Allen, I think, is the safe play, though an injury risk, but I'm going to go with Mike Evans. I'm hoping that everything kind of works out in Tampa Bay this year, and he returns to being that number 1, number 2 fantasy wide receiver. I mean, really, you're splitting hairs here. It's all preference. Keenan Allen, the injuries are just concerning to me, and there's a lot of there's more mouths to feed in Los Angeles.
There's more mouths to feed. That's what I was thinking. Is there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense. So I completely agree with you.
Well, Keenan Allen did go next, then it was Christian McCaffrey, top of the third. Aaron Rodgers went, then Mark Ingram. Now I'm back on the board. I can go running back or wide receiver here. Let's see. Kenyon Drake, I'm not sure he's going to have the full workload. Jerick McKinnon, I don't want to take him this early. I don't like it. Okay, I should take running back here, but I just don't like any of these guys that much. I could take Adam Thielen. Allen Robinson's way down there. Larry Fitzgerald. Oh no, I'm running out of time. I would take T.Y. Hilton here, but with the Andrew Luck news, I'm going to go safer, and I'm going to grab myself Adam Thielen. And then I'm going to start just loading up on a ton of running backs after this, I think. Derrick Henry did go next. Doug Baldwin. I hate being in the middle of a long run. T.Y. Hilton. Jay Ajayi did go. Tyreek Hill. And now, Jason, you are back on the board.
Tyreek Hill. Dang it. Okay, so, I need a receiver. I've got two really good running backs. I need a receiver. But Rob Gronkowski's staring me in the face in the bottom of the third.
That's good value.
That's really, really good value, and I honestly don't think I can pass it up, and it's a short run, so I think I'll get one of these guys on the turn.
I like
it. I'm going to take Rob Gronkowski.
I don't think he'd be there if you didn't take him. Travis Kelce went next. You started a short run. Deshaun Watson.
He would have been right there. He would have gone right there.
He would have. Josh Gordon went. All right, Amari Cooper at the top of the fourth is Zach Ertz. Carlos Hyde did go. Now you are back on the clock, and you are hurting at wide receiver.
Right. I am hurting, but you know what? I'm not going to be hurting very long because I got a couple really good options here.
No,
I'm looking either an Allen Robinson. I'm either looking at Allen. I got Stephon Diggs, Allen Robinson, and Larry Fitzgerald that I'm looking at here. I don't trust the quarterback in Chicago.
15 seconds.
This is a difficult one.
Especially with these really short rounds, really short picks.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with Allen Robinson.
All right,
he's the number one. I like him. He's great, so I'm going to go with him.
Kenyon Drake did go. Brandon Cooks, Russell Wilson, Stephon Diggs, Alshon Jeffrey. I'm back on the board. I need running backs. So,
yes, you do.
Oh, man. Do I go with a guy that I hate or a guy that I expect to be replaced or a guy that I expect to be replaced or a guy I expect to be replaced or a backup or oh, man. There's nothing here.
You have a lot of good options here. This is great.
Oh, Jesus. All right. I'm going to go with a guy who is, he was paid a lot of money to be a starter this offseason, so I'm going to buy into the hype of a guy that I've openly bashed on this podcast many a time. And I'm going to I don't want to. It's Jerick McKinnon. Oh, I feel dirty.
Oh, don't do it. No.
Save me, Todd Gurley.
Why?
I don't know. Larry Fitzgerald went next. Then it was Jordy
Oh,
Nelson.
dang it.
Demarius Thomas went. Alex Collins did go after that, and now I'm back on the clock. I need more running back
Back on the
help.
clock. Yep.
Dion Lewis. I don't believe in Ty Montgomery. Jamal Williams is here. Rex Burkhead. Marshawn Lynch. They're probably just going to run the ball. I'm going to, you know what? A guy who should have a majority of the workload again this season, especially with his backup coming off of injury, with the quarterback coming back to be healthy. Maybe this offense is more explosive.
You got Lamar Miller there, though.
That's who I'm talking about. I'm going to draft myself
Lamar
Miller. So Lamar Miller's on my
there you
team. He's my flex player, and he has running back one upside, though we haven't really seen it in Houston. Tom Brady went next. Jarvis Landry, Greg Olsen, Drew Brees, Kirk Cousins, and now you are back on the clock, Jason. 5th round pick.
I'm on the clock. Let's see here. Well, I got a couple of really good options here. I've got Sammy Watkins is still there. Golden Tate is sitting there looking at me. But I think I am going to grab, before all of the really good running backs start to go, I am going to take Marshawn Lynch, I think.
You are a big Marshawn Lynch fan, so I'm not surprised by that. Golden Tate
I do like
next.
I think in the 5th, he's a starter. Why not?
Yeah, the 5th's not bad. Michael Crabtree, Jimmy Graham at the back of the 5th. That's interesting to me. Cam Newton, Chris Hogan, Jimmy Garoppolo, and now you're back on the clock, Jason. 6th round pick.
Right. You know what? Juju Smith-Schuster. You are now on my team.
Interesting.
I like it.
All right. Well, Juju has been drafted 6th round. Interesting. Evan Ingram went next. Kyle Rudolph, Tevin Coleman, Carson Wentz. Hunter Henry, man, so many tight ends have gone already. Why are there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tight ends in the first 6 rounds? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
All right, I can go either way, wide receiver or tight end.
9 quarterbacks.
Oh man, that's a good point too. I don't know how much I like it. You know what? A guy who was a monster last year, and now there's even more volume available in this offense with Eric Ebron gone. I'm going to draft Marvin Jones. He was a top 5 wide receiver last year.
All right.
Get him in the 6th round. I like that. Pierre Garçon did go next. Sammy Watkins, end of the 6th, top of the 7th. We have Jamal Williams. I was going to draft him if he made it back to me. Delaney Walker, and now I'm back on the clock again. I have 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and go either direction. Don't trust Emmanuel Sanders. Corey Davis is unproven. Robert Woods, I do like Robert Woods, but I don't know if I like him. I do actually like him in the 7th.
I do like him. That's a good value for him.
Fuller. Let me see what's out there at running back. Dion Lewis is staring me in the face. He could be the starter. Rex Burkhead, who could be the starter still in New England. He has the opportunity. Though they drafted Sonny Michel high. Or do I go with a starter in Washington and Darius Geis?
I was just thinking that. Yeah, he's good value in 7. I think he's going to be the starter.
Yeah, I think he's
definitely going to be. 2 seconds.
He's definitely going to be the starter. So you know what? I'll draft him. I'll grab him. You know, my 4th running back, a bruiser. He's going to get volume.
Nice.
He's on my team. Emmanuel Sanders, LeGarrette Blount, Corey Davis, Rex Burkhead, Tyreek Cohen. You are back on the clock, Jason. 40 seconds.
I am on the clock. Okay,
let's 40 seconds thing kind of sucks.
Yeah, it really does. Cooper Kupp, Marquise Goodwin, Sterling Shepard, and Robert Woods are the main guys I'm looking at here. Looking, I don't really see anybody else. Calvin Ridley's there, but yeah, he's not going to get a lot of volume this year. You know what? I'm going to go with a guy that worked out really, really well this year. I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp.
Interesting. Grabbing a PPR wide receiver in a standard league. He was really good towards the end of the year. I mean, he was good all year, but he really turned it on towards the end. Ty Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Dion Lewis, Isaiah Crowell. No, Sony Michel. All the running backs are going. Doug Martin. Really, Doug Martin in the 8th? He's a backup.
That's a little bit rich for my blood. I'm not a fan.
You can have him, player 10.
Not a fan.
So, Jason, back on the clock.
Yeah. All yours, buddy.
8th round pick.
Let's see. I can go either way now. I've got 3 and 3. Marlon Mack is there. Let's see. Nick Chubb is there. You know what? I am going to go. Have I got one of them yet? No, I have not. I'm going to go with a guy that I really fell in love with last year, and that's Marquise Goodwin.
There you go.
Out of San Francisco.
I don't mind that pick at all. I'm impressed you haven't drafted a quarterback yet. It's the 8th round. Robert Woods went. Dang it, Robert Woods went.
There, don't worry.
Julius Thomas, Devin Funches, Tyler Eifert, Latavius Murray, and now I'm one of 2 teams that haven't drafted a tight end in the 8th round. That's crazy to me. All right, so I'm on the clock. I have 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers. The running back situation is pretty bleak. Chris Carson, Marlon Mack, Deonta Foreman, Chris Thompson, James White, Rashad Penny. Yeah, I'm going to look elsewhere. I'm going to look at wide receiver.
There's not a lot of greatness going on in there.
Actually, you know who is? Wait, when did C.J. Anderson go? I didn't. Okay, never mind. Yep, going to wide receiver.
Yeah, he went already.
Dang it. Balls. All right. I have no time left. Oh, no. All right, Sterling Shepard. He's on my team. Eighth.
Okay. That's good.
Oh, man. That was just
not bad.
that was a gut pick because I didn't have a chance to really look at it. Jared Goff, Jordan.
I hate to.
Go ahead.
I hate to give you ideas, but what about Nick Chubb?
Yeah, I saw Nick Chubb. I was thinking about it. Jared Goff, Jordan Reed, Kevin Benjamin, Will Fuller. It's my turn back in the 9th. I just don't think he's going to be a starter. They paid Carlos Hyde a lot of money. It's going to be a committee, I think. Do I buy into the hype yet again of Devontae Parker, or do I move another direction?
Oh, my God. Please don't.
I know. I really don't want to.
You're killing me with this.
Martavis Bryant now at Oakland, Jameson Crowder. You know what? A guy who's going to get opportunity like he did in years past. I'm going to draft more wide receiver depth. I'm going to grab Randall Cobb in the 9th. I'm okay with that.
All right.
He could have some serious upside. If he can stay healthy, he's going to get a lot of volume.
Whoa, defense just went.
His touchdown chances are pretty low with Jimmy Graham there. Yeah, Chris Carson. Then the Rams defense, Deonta Foreman. Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Andrew Luck. Were they not paying attention to the news? He hasn't been throwing. 9th round pick for you, Jason. 9th pick at the 9th pick.
Okay, I'm looking at either Marlon Mack, Nick Chubb, or Ronald Jones. I think Ronald Jones has the opportunity to be the starter this year over Jacquizz Rodgers. I think Nick Chubb is definitely going to be the starter this year, so I'm going to go with Nick Chubb going in Cleveland.
Interesting. Nick Chubb. Devontae Parker went next. Marlon Mack. Minnesota Vikings defense. All right, top of the 10th. We have Ben Roethlisberger.
Coming off the board.
Backup quarterbacks are going.
Dang it.
Why are backup quarterbacks going? Eagles defense. Phillip Rivers. You're back on the clock, Jason.
Crap.
I
was hoping that Phillip Rivers would make it back around to me, and I was dead wrong. So
these automated drafts.
Yeah. All right. So 10th round, I'm okay taking a quarterback now. I got Matt Ryan and Matthew Stafford. Matt Ryan or Matthew Stafford. You know what? I'm gonna go Matt Ryan because I like what they did in the offseason. I like they got him with some nice weapons to throw to.
It's a solid pick.
I'm gonna go with Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is a solid pick in the 10th round. Martavis Bryant, Chris Thompson, Texans defense, Jameson Crowder, Robbie Anderson, and now I'm the only team to draft a tight end, but now I'm getting a little gun shy because people are picking backup quarterbacks already. So it's only a matter of time before they start drafting backup tight ends. So I'm going to draft Trey Burton in the 10th round. It might be a little early to me normally for a tight end, but this automated draft is scaring me. I've never used this site.
They're going crazy here.
This is a weird draft. Sometimes you have to go with the flow of it. So Trey Burton is my tight end. I got him in the 10th round. Matthew Stafford, James White, top of the 11th. Dak Prescott, Allen Hurns. I'm sitting here. There's a number of quarterbacks I still like. I'll hold off because I'm a gunslinger like that. And I'm going to go with the guy who's apparently going to be... No, do I? I really hate him. I don't... There's a bad offensive line. This is a bad choice. You know what? Instead, I was going to go Rashad Penny, but I just don't trust Seattle with that offensive line. So instead, I'm going to draft a guy who should be the uncontested starter in Detroit and Kerryon Johnson in the 11th round as a backup running back for me. All right, so he is on my team.
Pretty good.
Rookies. Chargers defense. Cameron Meredith went next. Nelson Aguilar. Ooh, that was a good one. Derek Carr.
I was hiding him in my back pocket. I was ready to draft him next.
You were going to Aguilar or Derek Carr?
Aguilar. I wanted Aguilar.
There you go. Ravens defense, and now you're back on the clock in the 11th round, Jason.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Well, he's still sitting there. I can't believe that. Ronald Jones is mine. Ronald Jones, running back, Tampa Bay.
Jones, running back, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a sneaky pick. I was thinking about that, too, when I was looking at Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota. Why are so many backup quarterbacks going? God damn. All right. Calvin Ridley went. Terrell Pryor in the 11th. How the mighty have fallen. Devontae Booker at the top of the 12th. Chiefs defense. Rashad Penny did go. And now Jason back on the board.
Back on the board here. All right. Let's see. I could take a defense now. or I could take. I got everything else I need pretty much. You know what? I am gonna take before the run begins. Oh, my computer is now playing games here. There we go. But before the run begins, I'm taking Justin Tucker, place kicker out of Baltimore.
Dirty. Oh, I hate you so much. Justin Tucker drafted in the 12th round. Marquise Lee, Ted Ginn Jr., Jameis Winston, Pat Mahomes. There are so many running backs.
Pat Mahomes in the 12th.
So many quarterbacks, so many tight ends. Cortland Sutton taken. All right, I have to draft a quarterback now because it's just getting way too thin out there. Do I go with, oh man, I'm stuck almost looking at rookies here. Eli Manning with all those weapons. Do I go with a guy who I expect? No, he's not going to start at the beginning of the year. Nick Foles is there. He might not start. Tyrod Taylor might not hold on to the job. Alex Smith I don't like, and Case Keenum I don't like. Okay, I'm going with Eli Manning. That's disgusting, but for a 12th round quarterback, I'm going to stream the position anyway. So, as I always do. I never invest high in quarterback because it's so easy to stream. Royce Freeman did go next, running back for the Denver Broncos, if you're not familiar. The Denver Broncos defense went next, top of the 13th. Jack Doyle, Saints defense, and now I'm back on the board. Man, the kickers and defense, well, you've taken the only kicker, but the defenses are looking really, really sparse.
Thin. Yeah.
I guess
super thin.
Super, super thin. So I guess I don't really care about any of these kickers because you took Justin Tucker. So I'm going to punt defense, and I'm going to grab my last little throwaway player here. And I'm going to grab a guy who's perennially a number one running back. If not, he's darn close to it. I'm going to draft Frank Gore in the 13th round.
There he is, my buddy Frank.
Frank Gore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th running back on my team. I have depth for the season.
There you go.
Alex Smith, Spencer Ware, Kenny Galladay, Greg Zuerlein, Bilal Powell. Good God, Griffin.
There you go.
And now you're back on the clock, Jason.
This one's a pretty easy choice for me. Arizona defense. I think they're going to be better than people give them credit for.
I don't blame you. The only reason I didn't go defense is because almost everyone had drafted a defense anyway, so what was there was going to be there, and I just don't care about kickers. You know, you'll find one that gets hot. It could be a rookie, could be anyone, and you just stick with them or stream them. It doesn't matter. Deshaun Jackson, Stephen Gostkowski, Josh Doxson, top of the 14th, Jake Elliott, Will Lutz, DJ Moore, and now you're back on the clock, Jason.
I hate myself. But I think I'm going to pick the guy that supposedly is going to get 24 touches per game in Tavon Austin. I'm grabbing him.
They have him as a wide receiver here.
He's in a wide receiver position, so why not? Hey, you know what? That's my 6th running back. How about that?
Mason Crosby, Rashard Matthews, man, he fell. I would have taken him if I had seen him. Dan Bailey, Chris Boswell, Matt Bryant. I'm sitting here. I need a kicker, I need a defense, and then this draft is over. So I'm going to grab the first kicker I see, which is Graham Gano, because it doesn't matter. Kickers are people, too, I admit, but I'll get a kicker on it. You know what? Just for the sake of my own argument, taking a kicker on a good defense, or a good offense, rather, I'll take Harrison Butker for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, he could be in scoring position quite a bit, so why not? Let's go ahead and draft him.
Sure.
Graham Gano did go next, though. Robbie Gold went. Now we're in the 15th round. We're getting late round flyers. Jeremy Hill, O.J. Howard. I'm on the clock. I need a defense.
Man.
Let's see. Do I go with the Panthers, the Steelers, not Seattle, Chicago, New England, Detroit, Tennessee? I'm going to stream these defenses anyway, so let's just go with the highest rated one, which is currently the Carolina Panthers. Really? I guess so, out of what's here. So, all right, yeah, whatever. Carolina Panthers defense on my team. Because so many teams drafted backup defenses. What the heck? All right, so Peyton Barber.
Just in case, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Giovanni Bernard, Des Bryant, Paul Richardson, Corey Clement. Backup tight ends. The defenses, there weren't that many backups taken. Only a couple. You're back on the clock, Jason. Your final pick of the draft.
My final pick of the draft. Let's see who we got here. You know what? I'm going to take a shot on a guy that I think could be very good this year. Man. You know what? I'm going to take, I'm taking Christian Kirk. He is a rookie in Arizona.
I don't hate that.
I think he's going to be great this year.
He's going to have a lot of volume. George Kittle, tight end, Dede Westbrook. And Eric Ebron, Mr. Relevant, Eric Ebron drafted.
How did he sneak into the draft? Come on, Eric.
I love it so much. All right, so to recap, let's recap our teams here. I have, and I didn't go into it wanting this. Every single team except for you and I drafted a backup quarterback. Listeners, listen to me right now. I know I do late-round quarterback to the umph degree, but trust me when I say, if your league is at all competitive, your draft will not look like this. There will not be every team taking backups. They will draft for depth at skill positions where you need the depth. You can stream quarterbacks so easily. So my starting quarterback, because everyone else drafted a backup before I drafted my first one, is Eli Manning, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Eli has a lot of weapons. He has a running game. He could be great. I think he has a couple years left in him. So obviously so is the team because they didn't invest draft capital in a backup for him. So Eli Manning, my starting quarterback. My starting running backs, Todd Gurley and Jerick McKinnon. I hate myself.
Who's that?
Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon. Or Lamar Miller, or Darius Geis, or Frank Gore, or Kerryon Johnson. I don't know. They're all interchangeable to me. But yeah, probably it's going to be mainly Lamar Miller, Jerick McKinnon. They're going to rotate between flex and number 2 running back. My starting wide receivers, Mike Evans and Adam Thielen. On the bench, I have Marvin Jones, Sterling Shepard, Randall Cobb. My tight end is Trey Burton. And then I got myself Harrison Butker as my place kicker and the Carolina Panthers defense. I don't mind this team, except for that I spent a 4th-round pick on Jerick McKinnon, but I needed running backs, and they went early. Man, did they go early.
They did go early.
I don't think this is going to be the norm. I don't think you're going to see only 3 wide receivers go in the first round. That's crazy to me. I don't think that's going to be consistent. But that threw off the rest of the draft, obviously. You have to correct, and I drafted 2 wide receivers, which I normally wouldn't do 2nd, 3rd round, but based on what was available, I still stand by that it was the right call looking back at it now. Jason, your team.
All right, so my quarterback is Matt Ryan. I got him in the 10th. I think that's pretty darn good. My starting running backs are Dalvin Cook and Saquon Barkley, who I stole in the 2nd round. My wide receivers are Allen Robinson. I've got Juju Smith-Schuster. My tight end I got in the 3rd round. Rob Gronkowski fell to the 3rd round, the back of the 3rd round. That was beautiful. I love to see that. My defense is the Arizona defense, who, like I said, I think is going to be very, very good this year. And then Justin Tucker is my kicker. And then my flex position, I have a lot of different options at the flex position. I got Marshawn Lynch I could put in the flex. I've got Cooper Kupp and maybe even a Tavon Austin because, I mean, the guy is basically a walking flex position. So, but anyway, my bench players are Juju Smith-Schuster, Cooper Kupp, Marquise Goodwin, Nick Chubb, Ronald Jones, Tavon Austin, and Christian Kirk.
I don't hate it. I actually really like your team. A lot of upside, a lot of good value picks.
I like it too.
I definitely like your quarterback better than mine. I like your kicker better than mine. I like your defense better than mine. Though I do like my depth at running back better than yours. But man, your starters.
You do have better. Yeah, you do have better running. I mean, I've got running backs that have good upside. It could be fantastic. Like if Chubb ends up starting and Jones ends up starting, I could have some really, really nice numbers coming from those guys. I like it.
I think I'd take my wide receiver core over yours too, but your quarterback, tight end, kicker, defense, I would definitely take. So interesting the way it all played out. I like my running backs, wide receivers. I like everything else about your team better. So yeah, that'll do it. If you are. Well, I mean, really, no matter where you're listening, if you want to head over to Twitter and follow us at the FF Fanatics, that's 3 Fs, at the FF Fanatics, I'll probably put up a survey, and if you guys want to vote on what your favorite team was out of the 2 of us, leave it there. Comment down below what you think we should have done differently. You can send us tweets on that. You can comment if you're on YouTube, and obviously a lot of comments down below the video. Well, obviously, there's no video because the camera's broken, but the audio clip with a still image of the logo of the show will be there. And, just let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you would have done differently. Let us know what you think that we missed out on, or if you like what we did. Give us your feedback. That's kind of half the fun. Well, let's start the conversation. We're finally into the 2015 2018 season. I was looking at it being the 15th.
He's 3 years behind there.
I know, it sucks. I'm seeing into the future with these players. The 2018 season, it is the 15th. That's where I was coming from. We're going to keep this ball rolling as we move forward into the offseason. A lot more news, a lot of training camps, offseason stuff, rankings, a lot of projections, a lot of good content, a lot of important things that you need to know before we get into the preseason and then your draft season. And then we're into football and fantasy and all its full glory. So, I think that'll do it for us. We'll be back on Friday when we will be doing a much more in-depth draft recap. We'll get this in front of CJ and get his feedback as well. And should be fun. So, Jason, any parting thoughts before we sign off?
Well, guys, if you haven't gotten the idea, it's time to start mock drafting. It's time to start practicing now. I'm telling you, it's important for you to do this, to see where these players are falling, what it looks like when goofy stuff happens, come up with a plan B, C, and D. Start mock drafting. Let's go.
Yeah, and obviously the more you mock, the more practice you have, the better you'll do. And, of course, you'll be better equipped than we are now because we only have preliminary rankings done. We haven't even updated all of our rankings yet with rookies, so we have a lot of shifting to do, a lot of projections, and by the time draft season comes around, if you stick with us and you've been doing your mock drafts, you should have all the information you need to make very good informed decisions. Obviously, don't take everything we say in a perfect world type scenario because you have to know your team, you have to know your league, you have to know your opponents, what they're going to do in the draft, and therefore how to address your draft strategy to them, and that's a whole show. We'll talk about draft strategy and all that stuff. That's a whole topic to get into. But in a vacuum, we'll give you all the information you need to make the right informed decisions. We're not going to tell you what to do, but we expect you to have the knowledge you need to make those decisions yourself. So that's why we're here. Make sure you subscribe. We're here every Tuesday and Friday. And with that, I guess we're out of here. So everyone, take care. We will see you on Friday. And have a good week, guys. Bye.